Hello there. I've got Kieran on the interview this time around, and Kieran, you've been doing some incredible stuff. In fact, we only actually met about 2 months ago, I think it was. So you've achieved a huge amount in just a couple of months. And actually, it was interesting, Kieran. I don't know if you remember, we met in Belfast, and you sent me an email afterwards and said that it was the first time we'd met face to face. But you sent an email saying, "Mark, I feel like I know you. That's the strange world of social media that we live in, and video and stuff." So I thought that was a really interesting comment. So I'm looking forward to hearing all the great things you're doing. But just by way of some background and to set the scene, just tell us a little bit about your practice, where you're based, and so on.
We are based in Derry in Northern Ireland, Mark. My business has been up and running now for about 5 years, and I've been in accountancy for the guts of 20. So I started off with PwC, and then I worked for another firm, qualified in the early 2000s. And after being manager in our local practice for about 11 years, I decided it's time to make the move and go it alone. So that was back in 2010, so we're up and running 5 years this year. And the big thing for us when we started up was the advent really of cloud accounting, and in particular we sort of focus on Zero from that aspect. So we've been trying to build our client base and our practice systems and services really around cloud.
Yeah, and it's interesting when I talk to you that you're clearly a very forward-thinking practice, and I know that you're having some great success with pricing, but I know you've also changed the way that you've priced. So, and until a couple of months ago, when we started working together, what was your approach to pricing accounting services?
If I think back to sort of 5 years ago when I started out, coming from the history of timesheets, my initial thought for the first sort of 3 to 6 months was keep doing what you're doing, because at least you can keep going with what you're used to. So pricing was all about working out roughly how many hours a job's going to take and putting a charge out rate against it and trying to price the client like that. Once I got the practice up and running and work was coming in the door, I had to then eventually take on a staff member. Timesheets did become a thing of the past because I started reading Ron Baker's stuff and stuff from yourself, and thought, yeah, that really is the way to go. But I didn't really jump onto the right model at that point in time. Really, I built up a client base, and I was starting to price work coming in the door based on my existing client base, and without realizing it, I was probably still pricing stuff based on the old method. So similar business of a similar size, similar quality records was getting the same kind of price as an existing client. And then some of the pricing in maybe 2 years ago, and maybe up to about a year ago even, was sometimes a bit of a finger in the air approach. A gut feeling, I've got clients like this before, I'm keen to get the work in the door. And quite often you're discounting yourself before you even have the conversation with the client. So there was tried and tested methods used over the course of the last 5 years, but I think gradually over the course of the last year I just became a wee bit more dissatisfied with how I was pricing work, and the feeling that I just think I'm undercutting and underselling what we actually do in terms of how we do it and how much we do for some of the clients.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you've made some changes now. What are the changes that you've made to the way you price?
Well, there's been a couple of key changes we've made, and it's based on your advice, and also a lot of the reading in your book and so on, and a lot of the reading I've done in the past about value pricing and Ron Baker stuff. You see so many, I think, debates on some of the accounting sites and social media about value pricing, about the concept of it and so on, but I really subscribe to it. So some of the changes I've made is really getting to know your client before you're giving them any kind of pricing. It's kind of trying to get to know not just about their business, but just their personality, just how they value the accountancy profession, the services that you're looking to deliver to them. And then one of the big changes is pricing each client on an individual basis. I think that's been one of the key things we've changed. So in terms of how we're pricing, the structure of it still is based on how much work's going to be involved, but the end price is really a result of a sit-down meeting with the client. So I'll have an idea in my mind of how much per month I think this job's going to be worth, but the end meeting with the client's going to determine whether or not I'm actually going to stick with that or not. But in some cases, I'm not actually going to now mark with the mindset, let's discount this a little bit and get them on the door. give myself a price which I think I'm happy with, but if I go north of that, I'm even happier again leaving the meeting. So it's been a change in the mindset to having the confidence in sort of selling what you're worth, selling what your services are really worth to the business, and explaining those features and benefits very, very clearly, to then give the client the confidence that, yeah, we're very, very happy with everything that you're going to do, and you can just stick with your price going forward.
Yeah, brilliant. And I know that you're doing a lot of stuff around, you're a big fan of cloud accounting, you've mentioned Xero. Can you give me some, and I know you're using that as what you do and pricing for that sort of service. So can you give some examples of some kind of recent situations with clients or prospects you've been talking to and how you've priced them and the sorts of results you're getting?
Yeah. One of the things we were doing in the past was we were very keen to get existing clients and especially new clients onto the Xero platform to work with us. And being very keen to do that, quite often you were taking existing clients, getting them subscribed and set up on Xero, and showing them what they needed to do going forward. And you weren't charging them a penny because they're existing clients and I'm making this choice for them, so why should I charge them for something that I'm changing? Whereas now it's almost, listen, this is a better tool for you and here's how we can do stuff better for you, here's how it'll impact on your business, and you're coming up with a price for that. And then for new clients coming in the door, it was sometimes in the past a case of £200 or £300 maybe to try and get them in the door to show them what they need to do on Xero, set them up with a proper chart of accounts and show them reports. But one of the most recent cases I had was a childcare facility where they are currently on a manual system. So some people might think the jump from a manual system to a cloud system is too much. Maybe they go to spreadsheets first and maybe something else before the cloud. But my view was, no, if you're going to the cloud, let's just walk you through that process. So based on your resources as well, in terms of setting up a cloud accounting system, I was able to go to that client and explain very clearly to them all the features of the system, but more importantly, the benefits of going to the cloud and the benefits of working with us as Xero advisors on Xero for the cloud choice, and then bundling in all of our other packages behind that. What we did there was we basically come up with 2 proposals for the client, and at the final meeting, that was the first thing they picked up on, which initially scared me because I thought they're sort of thinking about 2 bills here. But when I explained it's 2 different services, here's your setup on Xero specific for your business, specific chart of accounts and specific invoice templates, etc. All the training that you will need for the areas of Xero that you need to be using, and then what that's going to do to benefit your business. That's going to be one package, and we were able to agree that at £149 a month for 6 months.
Wow.
We set it up on that basis so that 3 months would probably be a time period for the setup and training to be covered off very, very completely. 3 months later, they're still paying, but we're probably still supporting a decent amount of the system with them, albeit we've also sold it on the basis of a full money-back guarantee if they're not happy and ongoing support when they need it, because we know in our experience they really don't need the support after 6 months apart from the odd query. So it gave us confidence that, yeah, we're getting the right price for it, but it gave the client the confidence that if I'm not happy, I'll get all my money back, even though having sold it to them on that basis, they know they're not going to want all their money back. That also led on to the second proposal, which was the annual compliance work. So it was company accounts, company tax, and all that sort of stuff. Currently paying their existing firm £100 a month, and I managed to get the deal done for £129 a month. And that's on top of already having sold the Xero system for somewhere in the region of £900. So it was an absolutely brilliant result all around.
That's awesome, incredible. There's so many clever things that you're doing there. So, but if I could just kind of, what you've done is they're paying you 30% more than their previous accountant for the ongoing work, which demonstrates that when you demonstrate value properly and know how to price, you can get better results. But also, you said you got nearly about £900 for doing the setup. So my question is, before you changed the way that you price, how much would you have charged for doing that setup for that client, for example?
If I had to do a finger in the air exercise, I reckon I would have probably come in with around £300 or £400. I would have done that on the basis of, look, we'll just do a limited amount of work on it and let them batter on it. If they have queries, they can come back and we'll resolve it at that point in time. That would have kind of led on to other problems, I think, anyway, because without giving them a full service and a full setup and good in-depth training on the aspects they need, they start to dislike the system that they don't understand fully because they haven't had a chance to have the full training. But now that I'm able to say to them, listen, for 900 quid, you're getting all of this, all of the support, money back guarantee, they're very happy to take that, and they're very happy with the system we've given them, which is the most important thing. The client has to be happy with what they've got at the end of the day. But initially, I probably would have been pricing it around £300 or £400 to try and get the work on the door. And probably I would have priced the compliance work around about £100 a month, and maybe a wee bit more if I wanted to chance my arm at that point in time. But based on how I was structuring it on black and white for ourselves, most importantly, Mark, you're able to see we do a lot of work and good work for these companies. So we do feel we're worth more than maybe what they were paying in the past. And in the past, they're paying £100 a month. They're getting a set of accounts done 9 months after the year-end date. So using the contrast principle, you're easily able to show people, listen, you're going to get something better. It's going to cost you more.
Yeah,
and they're happy to do it.
Wow, fantastic! And it's interesting. You said that you would have charged in the past £300 to £400. I've some recent benchmarking surveys show that a lot of accountants do setting up cloud accounting systems for free. Of those that do charge, the average price happens to be about just over £300. So it's interesting that you were an average accountant, I guess, in terms of where you're pricing, but now you've done something different and suddenly you're getting more than double the price and the client can see the value. So awesome story and well done. So for the benefit of people watching this, what would be the one or two key learning points, the key tips that you could share based on what you've learned over the last few months?
I think the biggest learning point is it's really listening to your client or listening to your prospect. I think it's too easy at times to sit and do what you do and keep doing what you do as an accountant. Keep providing the client with the same services because it's compliance based and that's what they need and that's all they probably really want. But what you're doing is you're closing your ears and not listening to maybe what the client is actually telling you they want. So for talking to our existing clients and finding out what they really want, we're going to be able to give them potentially more and value-added services. But more importantly for the prospects, you really have to have your ears open. So you really have to listen to what their problems are. What I'm trying to do with some of the meetings I'm having, Mark, is I'm trying to find out what keeps people awake at night or what really brings them into their work and business to run it again in the morning. Because you're finding out there what worries them and also what gives them that buzz. So you're able then to see, well, look, here's different services that will either solve those problems or keep you going in the right direction. So listen to what people are saying and build your service package for them around that. The other big learning point then is once you've listened to the client and sort of built stuff around it on an individual basis, price it on an individual basis. Because every single client and every single customer you come across is going to be different and they're going to place different values on different services.
That's so true. Yes, awesome. Great tips there. Thank you so much for that. I've really enjoyed talking to you and it's been great hearing your successes, and I know that you're going to have many more successes, so as we work together, it'll be interesting to hear the other things that you're going to be doing in the future, because you're clearly a very forward-thinking accountant. So thank you so much for this interview, and we'll speak very soon.
That's brilliant, Mark. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Goodbye, Kieran.